Kia ora koutou katoa, no mai hara mai ki te ao Hākinakina, your sports show right here on your Tribal Pulse, te Kore Maka o Taranaki 94.8 FM and 98.4 FM. Now, as we know, whānau, our Wahine play a huge role within sports, and in Rugby League, that is no different. This Wahine tour goes above and beyond for the game and for a community. He does all the background work that often goes unnoticed and works across multiple clubs and organisations to help grow the great game of Rugby League. She is the current tournament administrator for the Taranaki Whānui Māori Rugby League tournament, and we're very lucky to be speaking to her today. Allana Prestney, no mai hara mai.
Tēnā koe, Caps.
Kia ora. Hey, it's good to have you here with us on the show. I'm looking forward to our kōrero, but before we start, no wai koe, no he koe, a bit about yourself and where you're from.
All right. Tēnā te mihi kia tātou katoa, ko Allana tōku ingoa, he uri a Ngāti Toa, Ngāti Raukua, Te Atiawa. Te kāinga i tēnei rā ko Balbalock in Taranaki. I grew up in Palmerston North and went to Hokarere Māori Girls College and then ventured out into the world starting in Wellington and then to Aussie, spent 10 years in Sydney, married a man from Taranaki and ended up settling here in Taranaki some 30 years ago. So, yeah, that's probably me in a nutshell, really.
Oh, awesome, awesome. And Holmes, where's home now for you?
Balbalock. Yep.
Balbalock. Nah, awesome, awesome. So on that journey, Allana, you're obviously heavily involved with the game of rugby league, but were there any other sports that you've been involved with, as a young person that you're engaged in and stuff?
Yeah, softball was my favourite sport, and I always believed I could play that till I couldn't walk, but Taranaki, it died out here, so didn't have that opportunity. Also played netball at high level, represented Hawke's Bay while I was at Hokarere Māori Girls College, and played the top school team for 4 years. But softball was my ideal game. My brothers all played rugby, of course, and they were Te Aute College boys. So we followed that campaign around the whole time they were at school, and I was at school as well. My parents were rugby mad, and when I moved to Taranaki, we were rugby mad still, until my boys, when they started playing rugby. And then we discovered Balbalock Maris Rugby League Club, and they got a passion for league, and we ditched rugby potentially, and we've been league ever since. So, yeah, always been around sport, developed and part of a softball club in Sydney that we started with one women's team, and by the time I left Aussie, we had multiple teams, and it was all Kiwis, mainly from Rotorua. That played a big part in bringing the club together and starting it off, and it flourished. And as far as I know, it's still going, actually.
Wow, that's awesome. So when the boys started playing rugby league, what was it about the game that kind of interested you and made you kind of stick around?
Well, I didn't actually like it at first because I'd never really had a lot to do with league, and I didn't quite get it. But the boys, Tani in particular, my eldest boy, he decided that league was a better game. And the more we got around the game and around the club and around the whanaungatanga of playing rugby league, his younger brother was itching to also play. And so there was no turning back. They played both for a little while, and they really found at a young age that rugby league was a better game. And so we, as parents that support your tamariki, we followed them and, just fell into it really, into the other side, like making sure that we had a good club atmosphere, and, it just happened. Can't say no. That's, you know about that, Caps. Can't say no.
Can't say no. Awesome. So obviously it started with the Balbalock Maris Dragons, and then you've been on a bit of a journey since that start. So tell us a little bit about the journey and the different organisations, clubs you've been involved with and a part of.
Yeah, so I think quickly identified by people around me that I could do things that others couldn't. So it didn't take long to be put on the committee. So for Marist, I've been the treasurer, secretary, combined role for I don't know how many years. I have no idea. And then dabbled bits and pieces with Taranaki Rugby League. And then found that we needed to rebuild that in a way that suited our community. So have been on that as secretary treasurer for many years as well. And then got seconded onto our mid-central zone committee, which picks up Taranaki, Manawatu, Hawke's Bay, and was only the reporting line to that committee monthly, and then it kind of just escalated to I'm the current chair, and then also involved as the regional chair with other regional chairs that meet regular with New Zealand Rugby League, and then of course Māoris that I suppose just became part and parcel of everything else to do with league. Why wouldn't I? And now that my moko are playing as well, you know, well, I suppose because I enjoy it as well, and seeing our tamariki growing in that space, our numbers growing, the talent growing, that why wouldn't you want to be a part of it?
100%.
I've tried resigning from all those platforms many a times before, and it just is a blind, you know, no one can read my resignation and no one can hear what I'm saying. So you just go back in and do it again. Love it.
Yeah, and there's not many people that can do it at the level that you do. So, Taranaki Whānui Māori Rugby League. How did that come about? You've been involved with the Māori game for a little while now. We had an awesome tournament in the weekend.
Yeah.
What is it about Māori Rugby League that you really enjoy?
I think, as we all know, there's an element of being in spaces where you can be unapologetically Māori. You have a voice. You voice that. And away we go. So I find it the easiest space to be in, to be honest, because we can just be us and do things like us.
Awesome.
It's my everyday work, to be honest.
Yes.
I so work in the Māori space, you know, like I work in a space that's developing our people to be better people and give them different insight into what life can be all about. So when you work in that space, it's in your everyday life. It's just so easy to just keep doing it.
Yeah. And so in the weekend, we had our Taranaki Whānui Māori Rugby League tournament. I know that's something you're really passionate about. What is it about that tournament that's just, it's one of those favourite calendar weekends? What is it about that tournament that you really love?
I think because it's our own, you know, it's our iwi. We're not having to travel anywhere outside our spaces, and it's, I don't know, there's just something magic about it. And some years I might be grumpier than others with our teams and our management and the players, but that all becomes part and parcel of it, because I also see it as a means and ways of us all being better in the game and saluting the game in a way that we can play it well, we can manage it well, we can work together, and we can represent our iwi. I mean, quietly, I have a blue shirt on underneath my whānui gears that I wear for that weekend. But it's about all our iwi for me, that we're all involved, everyone's happy, everyone's engaging with each other. There's that element of competition, which we know we're never going to be able to get away from being Māori, but there's also that aroha and whanaungatanga that comes with all of that off the field. And that's what I love.
Awesome, awesome. And what about, like, because what a lot of people don't know is the stuff that goes on in the background, you know, like quite often people come to the tournament, they enjoy the festivities, but they don't really know all the bits and pieces that go on in the background. So are you able to just give us a real basic understanding of those little bits and pieces that people might often forget?
Wow. Yeah, well, I suppose aside from working with all the managers to make sure we have team listens so that I can pre-print match sheets every day for the match managers, just makes it a streamlined and easier process. Just managing all that, doing all our stats throughout the weekend, which I haven't quite finished, but I will get finished. And I suppose I don't know, it's really hard to explain because you just know what you have to do and you do it. And working with other people around, I mean, you do a lot of it leading up to the tournament. I think the job I do is quite minimal compared to what you do. Yeah, so I don't know. I find it hard to actually reflect back on what you do because you just sometimes create new ideas and just roll with them, you know, and you don't give it a second thought, really. It's because in the forefront is what is going to be the best and easiest way for our teams and their crew to manage coming to a tournament. And it works the same even when I coordinate the Tamariki campaign. It's about putting all the ducks in a row, making sure everything's ticked off, and you don't give it a second thought when you've done it for so long. So I'd have to actually sit down and think about that a little bit. It's whatever comes up, like, you know, you'll message me and ask something, or someone will message and ask something. Yeah, let's just make it happen because it's going to make it easier. So I think that is how we roll as Māori anyway. We turn up to the marae for whatever reason, and everyone knows what their role is to ensure that it's a smooth transition from one space to another. So documenting it is not my thing. Just doing the mahi is my thing.
Oh, there you have it, Wahine. Oh, she didn't really talk herself up much, but I can tell you, Wahine, there's a lot of stuff she does behind the scenes that, yeah, a lot of it goes unnoticed. So big mihi to you for all that you do in the background. Just lastly, before we go, next year, 10th anniversary for the tournament. You excited about that? And give us some details.
Yeah, hard out. What that's going to look like, you know, we kind of are a bit unsure. It could mean a whole week. The way people are talking that they're going to have teams. If we bring the rangatahi in, could be more masters teams. How can we fit that into a weekend? So, yeah, there's some big work ahead. Some big thinking ahead as to how we can actually roll what we believe could be the best thing for 10 years. And it's great. It's great to be able to look back and say we've done 10 years of this successfully. And that's all that matters, really.
100%. Well, Allana, on behalf of all of us here in Taranaki and abroad, thank you for all that you do for the game, all that you do for our tamariki, for our communities, not only in clubland, but in Māori Rugby League and across the district, across the regions. I appreciate all you do. We know you have late nights. You're up all night doing work, all crazy hours. But on behalf of all of us, thank you for coming in today and thank you for sharing your journey. Kia ora.
Kia ora koutou. Kia ora, Caps. You know, you don't always get noticed for all the background work you do too. So I'm going to reciprocate that by saying, you know, without you in our game as well, to do all the stuff that you do that's unnoticed is also prevalent to how we move forward. So kia ora, koe.
Kia ora, kia ora. Well, have a good day, and we'll, I'm sure we'll be messaging each other for more mahi to do soon.
No doubt, no doubt.
Ka pai whānau.
Right.